and welcome to another rambling review from Adventures in TV Land. In this rambling review, we're going to talk about the movie Here. Here is the latest project from Robert Zemeckis, who's perhaps best known for the Back to the Future trilogy, as well as Romancing the Stone, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, as well as Forrest Gump and The Polar Express. The movie Here, it is based off, I did not know this ahead of time, I did not know until the end of the movie. It is based off a graphic novel, so that is the source material. The concept of the movie is fascinating. It places a camera basically in one location, and all the action, the camera doesn't move. All the action, all the storytelling, everything happens in front of that camera, that one camera that does not move. This movie goes through the course of history from time of the dinosaurs through Native Americans, and then the rest of a lot of it's set at this location where this house is built in the early 1900s. It is a location across from another historic house where Benjamin Franklin's son once lived. You see the home actually being built at one point. Scenes that takes place, it shows you the different owners of the home over time who live in this house, who live here at this place. And the concept with that camera and that one angle, it's a fascinating concept. I kind of liked it. What I didn't like about the movie is how it jumps around through time. It does this through like these little windows pop up in like a part of the screen. These windows enlarge and take over the screen. And the movie constantly jumps back and forth through time, through history. So you kind of lose track of what's going on in the central story. Now the central story, it revolves around Tom Hanks, his character, as well as Robin Wright, who are reunited. They were in Forrest Gump together, co-stars in Forrest Gump 30 years ago, and now they have been reunited here in the movie Here. Now there's certain moments that kind of have an uncanny valley feel to them, because Tom Hanks' character, he's been de-aged from the time he's an adolescent, and then he's actually aged as he is older than himself later on in the movie, and it's all done through CGI, and so that has a kind of an uncanny valley feel to it at certain points. So Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, they play the central characters of Richard and Margaret Young, and they basically, Richard, he grows up in this house, and he eventually inherits from his parents, and he lives most of his life here in this house, part of the time with his wife, Margaret, and this shows the course of their life, the things that happen there. Now, I will say there are certain moments they felt very staged. There's a moment where a particular character, he meets an untimely demise. It happens right in front of the camera. There is very little about what happens there, that incident, that does not seem staged at all. As though it's a play that you're watching. Instead of a movie, it's like this play that you're watching the scene unfold. With the jumping back and forth through time, through history, the reason I didn't like it, it actually disconnects you from the characters in the story. You start getting involved with these characters, having a relationship with it, and then time jumps backwards to 100 years ago, the first people that lived in the house and their little segment. And then it jumps forward again. At the beginning, because there are all these different segments, it's very disorienting. And so you're not for sure, wait a minute, this is happening here? What's going on? And that's the other thing is, because when it does those flashbacks, when it goes back to shows to another story connected to the house, connected to this place, that connection you had with the previous characters, it's broken. You don't have that. And so it's like you don't get connected to these people. Some of the stories that happen are more interesting, more entertaining than others. In all honesty, other than the concept, I was kind of bored by the movie. At the end, I was like, that's it? I've just spent 2 hours watching that. And though I was excited by the concept and how it was filmed, the overall storyline and everything else, I was not. There's also some moments that are very heavy-handed that stood out to me that really didn't need to be a part of a movie. There's a movie that's trying to make a point about racism. It feels out of place, in all honesty. There's another moment, particularly about COVID, and they do try to make a parallel between COVID and the Spanish flu of 1918. Maybe when this movie was being filmed originally, that was more significant at the time, but having that taking place in this movie, it actually feels out of place, those moments do. They don't feel natural like other parts of the film do. They feel like they were forced into it. Anyway, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would only rate here as maybe a 4. I cannot... It's maybe a barely if you would go watch it to see, but I would watch it once and that would be it. I mean, there's no reason to watch it again. In all honesty, a lot of people, I wouldn't even recommend watching it because you probably will be bored by it. The concept is very interesting. The technical expertise is fascinating. Beyond that, that's it. It's just kind of a quirky side film. This has been another rambling review from Adventures in TV Land. Thank you for watching. Until next time, that's a wrap.